Welcome to Mobile Armor Radio, the podcast for all things Mecha. Jumpship incoming.
Welcome to Mobile Armor Radio, episode 56 of our ongoing adventures. My name's Rob.
I'm Bryan.
And I'm Chopper.
Well, wait, we're not supposed to talk after the clapper.
Oh, yeah. We've
already messed this up.
Are you going to yell at us?
I'm going to yell at you for mentioning the clapper. Anyways, we're talking about mechs, as we do.
Yes, we are.
And,
I guess, you know what?
Yeah?
I'm sorry to derail you here, but this just popped into my head as we were in the banter section here. We are playing around with just doing a video instead of recording and hosting. As listeners, would you rather just listen to us, or would you rather listen to us and or see us?
Ugh.
Let us know in the posts.
Well, because we're going to be migrating everything over to YouTube, but you can use a podcast on YouTube, as we have been doing, and or you can actually see us like our other podcast, Dragon's Tome.
It's not. I don't think it's any more work. It might actually be less work if we video.
It's about the same amount of work, but it's on YouTube, so we have the ability to show our faces. So it's
if
Bryan.
you'd like to see these scary visages.
That's right. Bryan has to put pants on, but that's all it is.
Yeah. So help us decide, because we are uncertain.
Worthy.
Unworthy?
Uncertain.
Yeah, but it isn't uncertain that we are going to YouTube because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Fair.
And it also has, generally, Podbean is not what it used to be, let's just say. So we're trying to leave those guys and go to a YouTube-based, so you won't get an RSS feed anymore. Well, we'll still do it until it runs out. We have our subscription runs out there, but pretty soon it'll be only available on the YouTubes. Of course, we'll post it in the Facebooks and on the Twitter. So if that's how you find us normally, it shouldn't be any different. But if you do use some kind of podcatcher, you'll have to change the way you listen.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, that's the one downside is that.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people are migrating over to YouTube anyways. It seems to be the thing to do. So anyways, enough of that. Enough of this. Enough of everything.
8 is enough.
8 is enough. 56 is enough. We'll go on to the Dropship and have some more fun and games over there.
Dropship landing.
Welcome to the Dropship. This is where we work on stuff theoretically. I know Pat.
There's a strong theoretical part to this episode.
Yes,
Pat, have you been thinking of things in your head at least?
I have, actually. Yeah. I mean, it's not that. All right, so is it my turn, I guess?
You might as well.
All right, so I'm just going to say I did nothing. And it's not because I didn't want to do anything. I just didn't have time. As many of you know, I work for Mantic, and these first 2 months of the year are really busy because I have to do a lot of Gen Con and Adepticon paperwork and prep work and event management for both those events. So the first two months are really, really hard for me to get any free time. That being said, when I go downstairs, I go, oh, I need to be working on that. Again, the Neo Zhang will always be there. Neo Zhang will always be number one. That needs to get done.
Well, until you finish it, theoretically.
Yeah.
And then it'll be the last thing you need to get done.
Yeah. Well, then I'll start something new, and then, the irony here is that I was thinking, what would I do next after the Zhang when I was looking at it, and I was thinking maybe I would bust out one of those cyclones that we bought many, many years ago that I never even opened.
Yeah, they're cool.
Did you put yours together?
Yeah, the old school ones. Yep.
Yeah, were they colored again? I forgot.
They had colored plastic. Yeah, so they had like they had the specific colors on it, and
the faces were painted.
I think so. I can't remember exactly. But it's those were really old kits, and it's like we're so used to the new kits where everything like snaps together pretty much, like the Bandai kits and stuff. Those ones were not like that. They're much more old school, where you have to actually put two pieces of plastic together and glue them because they don't hold themselves together.
They're NPC models.
Yeah, like the old
monogram models.
Yeah, so that's my only order of warning for those. That's all I remember about them. But I put mine together about 5 years ago, so I don't remember that much.
Well, sometimes I put those. Yeah, that's how long I've had those models. And sometimes what I'll call the knockoff brands, not necessarily knockoffs, but just for lack of a better term, I end up gluing some of those pieces together anyways, just because I feel like.
Oh, I always glue my kits together, because I don't trust. Yeah,
all that great.
I even Bandai kits I glue, especially like joints and stuff where I know it's going to have a lot more pressure on the shoulders and stuff like that. I definitely glue them to make it tighter too, so that it stays solid. I found when I just snap together that sometimes they get pretty loose, so I definitely throw some little bit of glue. But make sure you know what you're doing before you do that, because I've had to pry apart pieces I've glued too. So,
so I mean, honestly, that would be my dropship. Just thinking about what I would be going to next.
In your pipe dreams that you're ever going to finish the Neo show?
I will. I'm going to finish it.
Wasn't that your New Year's resolution last year?
It was. It still is. The problem is that I just need to get some time. I've been remodeling my basement in a sense that I've been moving everything around.
Yeah.
So I'm in the middle of that also. So I figure once I get the hobby area clean, if I took a picture of my hobby space, you'd be like, "How does he get anything done?" And
I've been in there, and I agree.
I wonder the same thing myself. So I'm trying to clean it up, make it a more usable workspace. I have a desk that's in my garage that I think I want to bring downstairs with the help of Rob and Jack in March.
Put us to work.
Well, you've seen that desk. I think you helped me move it into the garage.
Yeah. It's our once a year or twice a year manual labor.
It's big.
We work for models. That's all it works.
Yeah. But I want to move that down, I think, and use that as my new hobby desk.
Nice.
Nice and solid.
Yeah, so everything's kind of revolving around that at this point. But for me, that's it. That's just really nothing. I got nothing. I thought about things, and I think about things, and then nothing comes to fruition until later.
Well, that's the way it works.
Yeah.
So, Bryan, what have you been doing? Please say something.
Well, a combination of things.
Good.
For one, I've been kind of making a big push on the firefight side of the Mantix firefight game, and it was kind of one of those things where I always forget if I talked about this because I do another show where it's just Mantix stuff. But I was kind of doing the math of figuring out like how many different factions I could field in that game, which is a few more minis to it than Dead Zone does. But one thing it also comes with is more vehicles. And so kind of with that, I've actually primed and have been getting ready to paint. I got a Forge Father tank that I got all magnetized and ready to go.
I was going to say, did you magnetize it up? Because there's so many options.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I magnetized. The only thing I couldn't do was the doing it as a transport, technically, because it has a slightly different configuration. That it's not just a new turret mount.
I had to build some like green stuff mounts for it, and I did it so you could magnetize it all different ones. Yeah.
Yeah,
but you definitely have to do a lot of modification.
Yeah, and I wasn't feeling that ambitious just yet. But it was that thing where I really kind of started plotting out like, okay, this is where I want to take my Forge Father faction. Kind of thinking through color schemes and stuff. So I've got that on the deck, and then I've actually ran a couple Mantic events, like a demo and a game day thing, And kind of with that, I for my rewards, which you get as part of the program, like I picked up a Spectra, which is
I gotta get one of those.
mech. Yeah, the like really kind of lithe and agile mech in that universe. And then I also picked up two more grunt bots because I wanted to have 3.
Why?
Because they're my version of the Black Tri-Stars.
Oh, okay.
And then I also picked up the Juggernaut, which is another Forge Father unit that's kind of a big walker.
I want one of those too, yeah.
So like I've been gathering to do a big kind of mechanized force across the board, which goes part and parcel with my story writing, my fan fiction stuff in the Mantic universe, where a lot of these are going to be representative of characters that are in my stories and whatnot. So that's a fun aspect of it. Have been struggling a little bit with temperatures in my house, where our basement is rather cool most of the year. So as you can imagine, in the winter, it's even colder. So my rattle cans for priming have been struggling. I'm exploring ways to remedy that. Like I've heard, like you can, if you kind of set them in warm water, not hot, but warm water for a while, it can kind of help.
Yeah, just put them on an open flame; they'll be fine.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Or do what Pat does. Pat just uses airbrush. You got to get an airbrush.
Well, it's a funny thing where my wife technically has an airbrush for baking.
Yeah.
You don't want to. Yeah.
Well, but no. Because she has an airbrush, means she has a compressor. Yes. So all you need is to get your own gun that you can paint through. Because don't definitely paint with her, because her stuff's put on food.
But
because that's what me and my wife do. My wife's got her own airbrush gun specifically just for the cookies that she makes.
Yeah.
But she uses my compressor.
Gotcha.
You can buy a super cheap gun too, because you're only doing it to prime. They're like $15 on Amazon, like super cheap one, because you don't care, because you're just priming with it. So.
Yeah, because that's the thing for me. Like as far as airbrush stuff, like it really would be predominantly priming and maybe scenery.
Yeah.
Because that would definitely speed up that side of things. I could definitely say, like when I paint terrain and it's just like 3 different spray paint cans. Boy, does that go quick.
Yeah.
Versus my the scenery that I painted, where it was kind of a white style and then had like a splash of color, that would take me hours to do like single buildings. But yeah, so it's probably in my future. And like we said, we've even talked about the fact that we can just share the compressor. So that's something that's on the docket probably. But then the other thing I've been working on is I figured out how to gearing up for Adepticon, actually, looking at the terrain requirements that we might have, because a lot of our events are selling out, which is awesome. But it also means we got to make sure we got enough terrain to cover everything. So I've been working on figured out how to do VAS mode on my printer. And I've been printing up essentially like small hills. They're coming from like STLs that were for like Armada Islands, so like ship battle islands, but they work great as like stepped hills. And I've just been printing off a whole bunch of different sizes of them.
That's cool.
And that'll be really nice to have for like firefight, where it's a bigger table and we'll have some nice hills and stuff then. And they print off simple and quick. Like if you don't need the details on the inside and everything like that, and you can basically, the base mode means they start at the bottom and they, like you're doing pottery, you kind of go and wider out from the base and up. And it just does the outside layer. It doesn't do any of the inside. Means it's hollow, so you save a whole bunch of filament, but you get some pretty decent models out of it. So been doing that. Going to be probably priming and painting them at some point here. So that's kind of mech tangent, but it's all kind of part of the same thing of kind of the state of my hobby is a lot of getting terrain ready for big events. So how about you, Rob?
For me, I talked about it before. I got a kit from my buddy Jack for Christmas I found out from it's from a video game actually. It's called Muv Love Alternative. It's I don't know, some kind of story game, but it's
I've heard of it. But
Muv Love.
Yeah, Muv Love. It's MUVLUV. I don't know if it's pronounced that way. Maybe it's an acronym. But
I have no idea.
Yeah, it looks like it's very linear, I guess. It's one of those like story games, so who knows? It's a Japanese thing.
Like a visual novel.
Yeah. But it's very cool. It's it kind of looks like a Navy jet. Like that kind of look, but it's it very Gundam-like, but he's cool. And pictures are all on the Facebook group if you want to check it out. But it was very neat. It was the first model I ever put together that had tampoed decals on it. It like specifically had stuff already on the pieces. I was like, oh, that's cool. So I didn't have to put any of the decals. So I like that a lot because usually I don't bother.
The decals?
The decals. I usually don't bother. So it was nice. It already had those on there. And it turned out real cool. And it was a unique model. It wasn't Bandai. I can't even remember who made it. It's another company. But
Love Muv made it?
Love Muv.
Muv Love.
Muv Love. You got to get the right way around. So if anybody knows if anybody's...
Muv Love made it. Or alternative, but made by Love Muv. Get it?
Oh, I see. It's the company. But if anybody's actually played this game, please let us know. It looks like, from what I could see from the game, it looks kind of very, like... I don't know, light, like almost like hot girls in mechs kind of thing, but the mech, it looks awesome. So it looks very realistic. So it's a weird combination. So I at first assumed it was some anime that I missed, but nope, this is some game. So maybe I'll have to hunt it down. I'm sure it's available on Steam or somewhere. So maybe I'll have to check it out if it's like super cheap, but I'm sure it's not.
I think it might be actually, because I feel like that's I remember seeing that like in old anime magazines that I'd see in a used bookstore. Like,
yeah, pretty old, right? Yeah, so
I think it's an older one.
Do they even make visual novels as video games anymore? I don't think that's a thing that they really do.
Technically, they still do, but yeah.
I think they're more branching than this. This is very linear, I guess.
Yeah. Usually that means they're choose your own adventure kind of stories.
Or like the Telltale ones, right? Like those games are pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't think
that's a good equivalent.
I don't think these are advanced as that. So, but anyways, it was a great model and it was fun to put together. And I took my time for once. I didn't just blow through it in one day, so I enjoyed the build because I haven't built an actual model kit in quite a while now. Because I have too many, and my room is filled. So,
what was the last model kit you built?
Probably. Oh, I remember we went to Rhino Hobbies, and I got that round facer. That was the last one.
Oh, that's right.
So that was like 2 years ago. Probably we went there. It wasn't last, or was it last time we went? No, it wasn't. It was the time before. So it wasn't this last Gen Con. It was
pre-pandemic.
Was it pre-pandemic? No, I think it was post-pandemic, but it was it was not this year, it was the year before. So
okay.
2021, I think. But anyways, it's been a while. But it was fun. And it got me the itch to build more models. So unfortunately, you can't build more models because there's no more room. Like there's all I know there was somebody posting on the Facebook group trying to get rid of all their Gundam models. It's like, I already have too many. I can't take more. So yeah, especially with a 3D printer too. I've actually stopped 3D printing a lot because I just have too much stuff. I need to either start painting it or do something with it. Yeah.
I had to reel back because I just cannot.
Although I do have I think Bryan from one of your Patreons, there's a cool Vash the Stampeder that I want to print. So.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw one of the latest ones we got was a Captain Harlock. Actually.
Oh wow, there you go.
Pretty sweet one.
Yeah, there's always more. That's a problem with Patreon and the problem with 3D printing. There's always more. There's always something.
There's always
cooler.
more, but because you have your own printer, you can do that anytime you want.
Yeah,
you don't have to do it.
They don't expire. That's for sure. So,
yeah.
That's about it then. That's the Dropship for this month. We'll come back with ComStar and talk about what we've been watching and absorbing into our pores.
Pores.
Message from ComStar.
I'm Bryan.
And I'm Rick.
From Deads on the Podcast.
And you're listening to
Mobile Armor Radio.
Welcome to ComStar. This is where we talk TVs, movies, books, comics, RPGs, video games, anything else that is consumable. Soft drinks. A few things just to kick it off. The AEGIS Season 2 Kickstarter is doing well right now. The link will be in the show notes, and it's all over our Facebook group and Twitter. But it's nearly $90,000 and 600 backers and 18 days to go at the time this comes out. They said in the first 24 hours, it already passed what Kickstarter 1 did, so that's pretty good. It means that a lot of people found out about the game like us after the first Kickstarter, so that is something to look into. It's we had the creator on a few episodes ago, and it was sound very cool. So anybody who's interested in lots of variations of Mecha, check that out. Also, there's going to be a MechWarrior solo video game is in production. It probably won't be announced until like late 2023, so to actually get it out probably won't be like till 2025 or something like that. But MechWarrior by who is it? Paradox that does it, or no, Piranha? I think Piranha does MechWarrior series.
Oh yeah.
But that's good because that's the only problem with MechWarrior 5 was and online. Both of them, 5 had a solo mode, but it was kind of, not the point. The point was you get with buddies and fight each other, right? So this is going to be more solo content, which is right up my alley. So that's about all the news I can think of. Bryan, did you had more stuff? I think other things you've perused on the internet.
I'm trying to think of a lot of the stuff that's come up. It's all escaping me right now. January's been a bit of a blur. It's mostly just been releases of new kits. Like there's been some new stuff for Votoms that I've seen come out. There's a lot more stuff coming out about the Witch from Mercury Gundam show.
Are they actually having kits for that? That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it's mostly been new releases that I've been kind of sharing when I notice them. So Hobby Link Japan is still kind of my go-to store. That you guarantee from them you're not going to be getting bootlegs or anything like that. You'll be getting the legit release of a lot of this stuff. So that's always really cool.
Yeah. And if they want to sponsor us, get in touch.
Yeah, Hobby Link Japan, if you want to reach out,
I think we've done this before. We'll
shout from the rafters of how neat your service is. So
we do it anyways, but
we do it anyway.
They're the rulers.
So, do you have anything else in the ComStar that you've been watching, at least?
Well, there hasn't been much on the watching side recently, though I am trying to kind of make that pivot and start getting caught up on shows and stuff. I've had a quite the backlog of a lot of stuff, as you can imagine. But even something as simple as like I have Blu-rays of a bunch of different anime, including like I've got Arcadia of My Youth that I've been meaning to watch for the longest time, and I'm like, I set it down and I'm like, I'm gonna finally watch this show. Granted, it's 2 hours, so I'll have to split it between like 4 different lunch breaks or something. But I want to start getting caught up on some of that. It's kind of that thing where with it, no longer being a holiday season, no longer having the writing competition deadline for the Mantic fanfiction group. We do a quarterly writing contest. So there's some downtime in between that I can devote to other things, such as catching up on video games and shows and whatnot. So yeah, definitely watching some more of the anime backlog that I've got. And then one thing I did do, I think I mentioned it a while back, is that I had been playing The Legend of Dragoon, which is kind of a fantasy, it's kind of like a Bronze Era fantasy game, and swords and magic and whatnot. And but it had like fantasy power armor that's powered by magic and dragons and whatnot. So I finally finished that game, and I put a big finally on that because I've had the game since 2000, I think, when it first came out on the PS1.
I think you even got Pat beat on the time that it took you to finish that one.
Yeah. And so I had never beaten it when I had it on the PlayStation 1. And so I had it on my PS3 as the PS1 Classic copy. And I finally managed to beat it. And won't lie, I know the game has a rabid fan base. And I did enjoy the game, but I won't lie, near the end it became quite a bit of a slog. When I'm just I'm just kind of
why can't it be over? Yeah.
I wanted to finish it this time. I didn't want it to just languish as another save on my memory card, as it were.
The old memory cards.
But what that means is I'm going to be working my way back then to picking up another game that I had started and talked about on the show before, which is Xenogears, where I had left off, I think, in the middle of a giant fight. On the eve of a battle, I just switched games and didn't go back to it.
I don't want to fight this battle.
Probably 6 months ago or something like that, or maybe even longer. So that's kind of next on my docket, is I wanted to circle back to that game. And a lot of these things I kind of play an hour or two before going to sleep. So it's not a long window, so it usually takes me a while to get through things. But that's on the list. And then also I wanted to start playing the newest Horizon Zero Dawn game, the Forbidden West one. I have it, and I got it on my PS5 now, and I had the realization that I hadn't played the DLC of the first game. And I'm like, ooh, I should either play that or watch somebody play through it quick, just so I don't miss out on any of that content. But I'm looking forward to diving back into that world. I really enjoyed it when I first played that game. It's the one with the essentially giant robot dinosaurs that have taken over the earth. And you're hunting them with bows and arrows and whatnot. It's a really fun game, and so I'm excited to dive back into that world after some of these more kind of grungy looking games that were less colorful and whatnot. It'd be nice to go into a game that it really pops with color. So that should be a fun time.
Nice.
So it's a lot of things that I'm planning to do as opposed to things that I actually did. But yeah, otherwise I did get to hang out with my good buddy Celeste while I was back in Wisconsin. I visited some family a while back, and I got to visit with her and go check out this magical Goodwill that's near her, where always finds the coolest anime or nerdy stuff.
My Goodwill never has any of this stuff.
Exactly, it's G1 era Transformers and a Sailor Moon wand that still has batteries that work
Sailor Moon.
there's some crazy nerds that live in Janesville, Wisconsin.
That need to sell their stuff a lot.
Yeah. The only downside of that trip, like there was, things always, don't go quite according to plan. I was gonna swing by Noble Knight Games in Madison because I have never been to their new location. And for those of you like new location with a question mark, they used to be in a much smaller space, and I haven't been there in like the 5 years since they've moved.
Yeah,
the place is huge now.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, I wanted to swing by it, but it just wasn't in the cards this time.
I could have lived in the dungeon for quite a while, looking through all the old games and finding stuff.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool. You got to go sometime.
Yeah, we flew in, so there was definitely the extra thing of like, well, if I won't be getting anything if I go there.
That was my issue too. I had to bring it home. I'm like, how am I going to carry all this stuff? Okay, get smaller stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's been fun, and I'm sure I'll think of other things that I forgot because January's been kind of a crazy month.
It seems like it for everybody.
Yeah, kick it back over to you, Pat.
For the ComStar, nothing.
You've been playing video games. There's got to be mechs in the games you play.
No, I haven't been playing any video games other than the one survival.
Yeah, what is that?
Which one?
There's no mechs in it?
You mean I've been messing around with Subnautica again with you guys. And there's a pound suit in that.
Yeah, but you have the sequel or something, don't you?
Yes. Yeah. But I haven't been playing that one.
But
none of the video games I've been playing have mech suits in them.
Well, Talisman does sort of.
It does?
There's those giant constructs.
Oh, yeah. So, what else is there anything? I have been.
And even Humankind doesn't have mechs like Civ does. I don't think there's any mechs in it. No, there's powered armor, but there's no mechs. Yeah.
I have been watching, and this is mech related in a sense.
We'll take it at this point.
Yeah,
we have to stretch that for this section.
I've been finishing. Well, like I said, I've been super busy. I haven't had a chance to do much. God bless it, help me. Space Battleship Yamato 2022.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been. I picked up in the middle of season 3 where I left off maybe a year ago, and started rewatching that again. And I think I forgot how much I liked the second half of the Yamato saga when they go out to help people, and they're when they go against what are they called again? Daystars or Death Stars?
I have no idea.
I've got a very limited knowledge of the Yamato.
Yeah, and I forget what they're called, but they're really cool. They're genetically engineered humans. Humanoids.
Trotty.
No, that's Robotech.
Are they giant?
No.
Oh.
But the cool thing is that they turn into bombs 30 minutes after they die.
Right. 30 minutes is a good time, though. That's a long time. It's not like 30 seconds.
Where I picked up again, they were doing an autopsy of one, trying to figure out who they were fighting. And then, because the Gamelons are now allied with the Earth Defense Force.
Gotcha.
And they're like, oh my God, they got one. Tell them to get out of there. And as soon as the guy screams to get out of there, the body blows up and kills a whole bunch of people.
Classic.
Awkward.
Yeah, so.
Awkward.
Yeah, I think I only finished the first season of that show.
Well, yeah, that's after they beat the Gamelons. And
yeah.
And
I really liked it. It became very difficult because I was watching it as a copy, like a physical copy that my friend had when they did like the limited DVD run, and like on the back of the case it had like the number of the copy that
wow.
Like this is copy like 568 of 1000 or whatever that were.
So you're like, it was like, I don't want to ruin this.
Yeah. And it was like, well, we couldn't get the rest of it. So
is it streaming somewhere, Pat?
It's on Amazon Prime.
Prime? Cool. Might have to check that out. Cool.
Because that's the one from 2015?
I think so. It's 2022 or is it 2099? I forget.
I think there's two. I think there's one that's 2099 and 2199.
Yeah,
I think both exist. I just forget which one's which.
Yeah, I forget which one it is too. I think it's the 22 one, 2202.
It's kind of funny because like I think I mentioned in the last episode, like the story that I wrote for last quarter's writing competition had heavy Captain Harlock influences, and so I have been kind of on a lazy Matsumoto kind of kick, and I'm like, man, I want to watch more of of his stuff.
Spaceships and people look like normal ships, but in space.
Yeah,
space.
I remember now. The name of the enemies are the Atlantis.
Atlantis.
Those.
So that's pretty much it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I don't have that much either. We're talking about Subnautica. I did beat Subnautica. I did use the mech constantly. It's called a prawn suit, and it pretty much you're stuck to the bottom, but it has a grapple arm that I was Spider-Manning around with. So when you go into caves, you can shoot your grapple and just keep Spider-Manning. It was fun. But
what was that called?
The grapple gun for the prawn suit.
Oh yeah.
So you can
Subnautica.
I can be Spider-Man. Both the Marvel and DC mech comics kind of wrapped up. Well, Marvel's it was the second series, but and the DC one, man, they were weird. And the Marvel one, they actually have a toy line. That's why they did it. But I don't know why the DC one. It was very odd. Like all of them were it was like Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash. Both Green Arrows or Green Lanterns were in one mech, and Superman. But they were all like teenagers for some reason. It was really weird. And
so you can get in the Gundam.
Well, yeah, they made their own power suits because parademons in like the 50s attacked, but they were giant for some reason. They didn't really explain that. So they had to build giant suits to fight them. Like the original, the surviving members of Justice Society had to go build these suits. And then, so all these new heroes are showing up. And yeah, Clark's Superman suit had a curl on his head. So you knew it was Superman. But yeah, they fight Darkseid, and there were some deaths. It was touching. But it was fun little series, especially if you just like a wacky. Don't take it too seriously. Neither of them. The Marvel one there's a lot more like fighting kaiju kind of in the Marvel one, but this one it was pretty much DC versus giant parademons, and yeah, there were some fun little things. I don't know why it was in the zeitgeist to have both of them had mech comics come out in the same time period. I don't know what it was, but yeah, mechs must be popular because even Marvel and DC are getting in on it. So I can't speak of the toys. The toys look very kiddie. They're like not like the adult collector kind of version, like not like Marvel Legends. They're very much mechs that you play with and smash together, which is good.
No.
Kids need to smash mechs together. That's all I have to say.
Smash mechs.
Yeah, other than that, I have done nothing else. I don't think I'm still reading all the Battletech books. I'm still in the Dark Age, and it is pretty dark. I didn't read there was a Northwind Highlander kind of...
so dark that one of the stories is a rabid farm mech.
Yeah, pretty much. It's always talking about these construction mechs and forestry mechs being used in war. But
Mad cow.
The Northwind Highlanders, there was like a 3-part series where they get attacked by the Steel Wolves, which are like the Clan Wolf offshoot. This is all from the Click deck, so that they had to explain why there was these offshoots and why there was forestry mechs and construction mechs and stuff. And you could tell that the books were written to fit the game instead of just being good. But they're all right. They were fine. They were all right. Those ones are fine. And the current one is Capellans trying to rebel against the Republic of the Sphere. So you know how much I love Capellans. So it's not been compelling, as it were. But yeah, that's about it. I think ComStar is wrapped for this month. We'll go on to the MechBay Hanger. We have a little bit of a conversation. It's people go out for dinner in February for some unknown reason, some event that is not real and made up, but we'll bring it in the MechBay Hanger. So we'll be back for that.
Now entering the MechBay Hanger.
Welcome to the MechBay Hanger. We're here to discuss topics. That's what we do here. But I decided this month we're going to do what 3 mech-related characters would you like to spend a day with and why? Or a dinner date. Or not a date necessarily. Doesn't have to be
Just
romantic.
a couple hours.
Yeah.
There was.
Who do you want to hang out with?
When it was posed to us, there was no romantic implication.
Who would you like to do a meetup with?
Yeah, a hangout day.
Yeah, you know they always say this about celebrities, but somebody was talking on Twitter, I believe, started talking about in the Battletech universe. Would you like to hang out with? And I was like, oh, that's a good thing. Well, we could expand it to all mech related things. So that's what we're gonna do. So who will I start with? I will start with Pat. What is your first one?
Oh, so I would like to go to hang out with my friend Aleksandr Kerensky.
Wow.
Before he heads out, because I would like to spend some time over dinner and convince him how the clans are such a bad idea.
Yeah, but it wasn't him who made the clans. It was his son. So.
Well, he passed that.
You should just convince him to murder his one son.
Well, not even that. I just want him here. I'm fixing the plant at the roots.
I see. So he'd be like, right from the start, be like, no, this is a bad idea.
Yeah. Or he won't put these ideas in his son's head.
That makes sense. I could see that.
Of course it'll be a nice dinner, so it won't be like he'll listen.
Maybe he'll have some borscht.
Borscht? Yeah, well, he could be Polish. Is he Polish, you think?
No, he's Russian. He is definitely Russian.
Well, Russia invaded Poland at various times.
I thought, isn't borscht Russian? I thought it was Russian. Or you can have vodka. How's that?
Yes.
Lots of vodka.
Get some vodka and stuff. So
what you really should do is convince him not to leave in the first place and to actually try to save the Innersphere instead of just abandoning it.
Say to start well, yeah, that's initially that would be where the conversation would start. But I feel like he's very. And because we would start the conversation, and how has he saved the Star League?
Well, by the end, he'd convince you to go with him, and you'd be ahead of some clan. All your principles would be thrown out the window.
Nope.
What would your clan be, other than your clan vacation guys?
I need to finish those.
You forgot about your clan vacation guys, didn't you?
Well, I made the
That's
test
a callback.
model. Remember? I made the test model, and it looked good with the fucking palm trees on the Hawaiian shirt.
Hawaiian shirt, yeah. Another thing to add to your list.
All right. If I don't even want to entertain the fact that I would have a clan.
You're not even going to joke?
Yeah, I don't even want to.
Clan Chopper.
It would be Clan Gorilla. Clan Magilla Gorilla.
Yeah, there is no gorilla.
Oh, no. We'd be Clan Grape Ape.
Grape Ape.
Oh. That makes sense, because they usually do have, Smoke Jaguar, so Grape Ape. Yeah, that makes sense.
So we'd be Clan Grape Ape, and we'd be just all giant purple mechs.
You got a theme.
It would be all assault mechs. We'd be the clan version of the Stieners.
There you go. That all makes sense now.
So that's my number one.
Nice.
To fix the clan problem.
Okay, Brian, what's your number one?
So the first person that I thought would be kind of neat to hang around with, just to go out, have a nice day. Norris Picard from 08th MS team. He's the goof pilot. And this is part and parcel because he's voiced by Michael McConaughey, and he's just a really swell guy to begin with. But I feel like he's a gentleman who you can have a nice, respectful conversation with. Probably has a good number of stories from his years in tours and duty and whatnot. It just seems like it'd be a really chill guy to go and hang out with. When even if it turned to politics, I feel like it would be a very respectful kind of gathering. Just have a nice little dinner with him, and we say goodbye, and hopefully we don't have to try to kill each other in the morning.
That's all right. I like how you assume you're going to be fighting.
I mean, Earth sphere. But how about you, Rob?
My first one is also Battletech, and it's going to be Catherine Stiener. Of course, I'll have to call her Katrina because otherwise she'd probably murder me. But
oh, that's a good one.
But I'm choosing her because A, she's super hot, but also it'd be the safest place in the inner sphere, I would think, because she's super paranoid. Also, you get all the juicy gossip. She knows everything, and she probably won't kill me because I'm not related to her. So I think that would be a great dinner date. And yeah, I think it would work out. I wouldn't try to convince her any other way because she's insane, and I don't think it would work. But yeah, it's almost like like I say, she's hot, but also it'd be like those interviews with serial killers where you're just like, I want to get inside this person's head. Are they really this nuts? So I think that's.
And by the end of it, you just go like, yeah.
Yeah, she is that nuts. Or once again, I'd be on the front lines fighting for her or something like that because, yeah, that's just the way these things happen. Yeah, that's right. Be like, yeah, Victor is a jerk. Let's get him. Become a suicide bomber or something. Anyways, Pat, number 2.
Number 2. My number 2 would be to go back to Robotech City and hang out with oh god, I forgot his name now. Max.
Oh, Max
Sterling?
Yes. Because I feel like he is probably the best pilot in that whole deal.
He is the best pilot, obviously. But
and it also would allow me to oh my god, what was the name of the guy?
Which guy? Roy?
Not Roy, the other one.
Rick?
Yes, Rick. Oh.
Wow. Just the hero of the story.
Well, that's the thing. Is I never.
That's the thing. He has brain damage. Don't bother him.
I've always hated Rick Hunter.
Oh. He is a bit whiny.
And I'll tell you. So this is all right. So this is my. I would go back, hang out with Max because Max is the bomb.
You convince him to take charge and.
Oh no, not even that. I wouldn't even do that. He would take charge whether Rick was there or not. But it would allow me then to sideswipe Rick and to find out and also observe him for what kind of spineless man he is, who is so hooked on Minmay that his life falls apart every time he's around her.
Yeah, it's Minmay. She's got magic powers.
I'm just saying, you know what? Buckle up, buddy.
So I have to ask Pat, because I won't lie, Max almost made my list. But I was curious, do you go to the arcade and play against him in the simulator game, and or have a knife fight with him in the parking lot afterwards?
Oh no, we'll do.
If Pat had a knife fight, he'd fall in love with him. We don't want that.
Yeah, no, we don't want that. So what we're gonna do is definitely do arcade, just because it's arcade.
And he'd show you how to do it. That's for sure.
Yeah. And then me and him would go at it, and we'd be the best buds. And then we'd go and make fun of Rick. Oh, let's go cry about Minmay, Rick.
Oh, wow.
Ouch. With Lisa right there, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's make this other girl break her heart in front of her.
Yeah.
Let's destroy this girl's self-esteem.
Yeah, that's right. Good one, Rick.
Yeah, way to go, buddy. Way to lead.
He becomes the admiral in the end, so what are you going to do?
But, I don't know. We'll just,
Well, yeah, his ship is the one you don't ever hear about again.
That makes sense, yeah.
So
he went after and cried about Minmay somewhere.
That would be my hangout with Max. We'd have a good time. We'd fight. We wouldn't fall in love, but then we'd go and make fun of Rick from the side.
Nice. Okay, Bryan, what's your number 2?
So I'm going to shift this because shift my number 2 and 3 around just because it's a bit more topical. So my next one would be Neki Basara from Macross7. So this is basically Space John Lennon. He pilots his mech with a Guitar Hero controller and is constantly late for his own concerts. And so like that would be the thing with the hangout day, right? It would be like you'd have a set itinerary. It's like we're supposed to meet here, but we'd spend the whole day following this guy around because he's got like the worst ADD. He just goes wherever the music takes him, man. And I think it would be a blast. You'd meet so many really weird and strange people that initially would probably want to kill you, but then the power of music, the power of rock would win the day. So I think that would just be really fun to watch and maybe partake in. So yeah, I would spend a day hanging out with Neki Basara, and by proxy, Maximilian's actually there because he's in charge of the SDF that protects Macross7, and so get to see all of his extended family too, because his daughter's in the band. So
there you go.
Yeah.
It's
so
like
that's the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon for that.
It's a whole new world. It's like alternate realities.
Yeah.
What if Rick was not bad?
Yeah.
There you go.
What's your next one?
My next one is we're gonna stay with in the same world. It's Robotech again. Mine is Roy Fokker. I thought you were gonna steal this one when you were talking about. You're like not Rick, but
I've always liked Max a little bit better than Roy.
Well, Roy, I think he's cooler because he's older. And if Top Gun taught me anything, partying with a bunch of pilots looks like a lot of fun. So I think just go out with a night on the town with Roy Fokker. I think it would end up being pretty fun. It would obviously be before he died.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's why.
Otherwise, it's creepy.
Make sure you're not going out to get fruit salad.
Yeah, that's right.
Your logic is almost the same as mine, except for I thought hanging out with Max would be a little more crazier.
I don't know.
It's kind of the funny thing where I'm kind of with Rob, where I think Roy would be a better guy to hang out if you wanted to make fun of Rick.
Yeah, that too. You get that older brother vibe, but
yeah.
But I'm thinking like back when Roy was before Rick was even a thing, they'd be like, Rick, well, that little kid who's nothing. Yeah, no, we'd go out, hang with the Top Gun guys.
Roy also has canonically probably been the most drunk character in that show.
Oh, I assume there'd be alcohol involved for sure. Like I said,
including flying his mech while he's drunk.
Another chance. You have a chance to take a flight.
You fight when you're drunk.
Maybe you take me on a joyride in his Valkyrie. There you go. But yeah, so that's my number 2. Pat, last one. What you got?
My last one is not a person per se, but a group.
Okay.
I would like to hang out with the Patlabor Division 2.
Well, you stole my last one because that's exactly my last one also.
Just because I feel like if we were to hang out, just shenanigans would happen.
Yeah.
And it would just be a fun time.
That's what I said. It would be a fun group to hang out with.
I would say I wouldn't stop laughing the whole time, and they might let me drive a Patlabor.
Exactly. And just the shenanigans and the ensuing, all the things that could happen without the day would just be fun as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be part of the shenanigans, right? Is that they say, yeah, just go for it.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Just move it down the way. Yeah, okay, I got it.
Yep. Probably drinking some homemade hooch out of the whatever they made in the
exactly.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. And by the end, you'd probably end up trying to stop some labor destroying part of the city because they'd be too drunk to drive, so you'd have to go do it. And you couldn't do any worse job than they do, so. Yeah, that was my thinking exactly. It's funny that we taught the same last one, Pat. And so, Bryan, it's up to you to bring us out here. What is your last one?
All right. So this one, I will say it'd be better if either the characters were aged up or I was younger.
To make it less creepy? Is that what's happening here?
a little bit. Because it's, I think, Kaname Chidori from Full Metal Panic. She's the gal with the blue hair. She's the class president and is constantly like, always looking to have fun with her friends and everything like that. And like being part of like a school trip with her class, I think would be a really fun time. In part also because I know Sosuke would be like, following us the entire time. And it would almost be like a Where's Waldo kind of thing where it's like, we're just hanging out and I'm just like always trying to find where this guy is behind us. I think that would be a really fun kind of situation to be in. Obviously, like I said, either we're aged up out of high school.
No, I think it's much better if you were in high school with them because it's high school hijinks. That's what that is right there. The
other mysterious transfer student from the United States. I think they're still around in that universe. but no, I thought they have a really fun energy to them. And I think that, whatever shenanigans they get into that are not the very serious kind, because that show really, if it was more of the Fumofu season in particular, I think that would be the most fun.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds like fun, dude, because hijinks would ensue, but it's still like, high school hijinks are the best kind of hijinks, I think so. Mm-hmm. Gotta remember back to the days of screwing around in high school.
And then like running around and pranking Sosuke, like would be kind of a fun thing to do too.
Nice. Well, there you go. That's who you'd like to hang out with. Please post below either on the YouTube or on the Facebooks. What's your top 3 people you'd like to hang out with? And explain why our ideas were insane, because they were.
Yeah. But and don't tell me that hurting Rick would be a travesty.
Yeah. You try to defend Rick or the clans to Pat. We'll go to the ExFil now then.
Let's ExFil out of here.
Well, we made it, guys. We're at the end of the episode. We're in the ExFil.
We did it.
Any final words you'd like to say before we're out of this whole schmozzle?
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Yes.
Definitely thank you for listening. But please do let us know if you'd want to do video, because it wouldn't be that much more, I don't think. And
nah. I was willing to do it today, but Pat said I had to put pants on, then it was the whole thing. So no.
No. At first I said I had to comb my hair. My hair is a mess right now.
Yeah. But it is fun. And I'd show pictures. That's another thing. As we talk about stuff, we could show the pictures we're talking about also.
Yeah, so maybe we should do it too.
And but other than that, we are going to YouTube, so get used to that. Come subscribe. It's Mobile Armor Radio on YouTube. You just look it up.
Yes.
It's the only one.
It's just better for us. So sorry if that's a little inconvenient, but
suck it up.
Suck it up, Rick Hunter.
That's right. Stop crying about Min-May. But yeah. So come join us there. Like I say, we'll be posting it on all of our social medias anyways, but it's going to be there. I don't know how many people actually subscribe on like podcatchers anymore. I think it's kind of going away. I think a lot of people are moving to
people
to
are
YouTube.
Definitely moving away from it. So I still have one, but I don't use it hardly at all anymore because
this is the last podcast I have on it. Yep. All our other ones are on YouTube. All our other podcasts. So I think it was this time. And I've converted all of them over now, so you can watch the whole of the back catalog, and you can go by playlists of the different seasons, or you want to hear just the interviews, you can go find those. So, but it's all on the YouTubes. A lot more choice for that too. I think that's fun. But until next month, which will be Adepticon month, it'll be March, and at the end of March, we're going to Adepticon, so please join us there. We'll talk about it more in the next episode, I'm sure. But yes. I've been Rob.
I've been Bryan.
And I've been Jobber.
Please join us on all our things. and
You
follow
know
us.
You want to.
And comment. We love the comments. We love a lot of people posts on the Facebook now, which I like a lot. It used to be just me or Bryan posting, but a lot of other people post now too. So it's great. And I love seeing all the other Patreons and stuff people are posting on there too. So keep that up. Other games, like people have been showing off their stuff. So it's we like promoting all these smaller companies and homebrew stuff. So that's great.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
So until next time, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What was that noise you made, Bryan?
Yeah.
Bye.
It sounded like a bullet bounced off of his bulletproof vest. Bing.
Oh, I thought it was more of a meep. Bye-bye for real this time.
This has been Mobile Armor Radio. Join our Facebook group by searching for Mobile Armor Radio. Find us on Twitter @MArmorRadio. Find us on iTunes and visit our website, mobilearmorradio.podbean.com. Join us on the first of every month for more mecha discussion.